everybody. Have you started your holiday shopping yet? I have. In fact, don't hate on me, but I'm done. Yeah, I know it's early, it's really early, but I am totally done. But if you haven't started yet, we've got your back. Welcome to this week's edition of the Oldish TV. My name is Karen Brown, and we are going to talk about gift giving, particularly for those on your list who may be older adults. You know, it's really hard to purchase gifts for older adults because anything that we need, for the most part, we just go out and buy it when we need it. But every year, we put together a holiday shopping list. We've done it for years. It started so many years ago when the Oldish was myparentsareold.com, which was a blog. And we've just carried it on through. And if you were to print out last year's list, it was 3 pages long. We give you links where we can, but you know, we're not promoted by any of these companies. We're not sponsored. So rest assured, these are legitimate recommendations. The things have come and gone off the list as new products have come along, and as other products have had safety tests or other kinds of testing or experiences reported with them, we may have chosen to take them off of our list. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek here today. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because the whole thing isn't finished yet, but I do have a couple of things I want to show you today. Let's go over last year's list just a little bit and pick out some of the key points. And these are some of the things that people commented on the most. Time, the number one thing that older adults really want from their family members is time. I see that as I get older as well. In fact, I'm in the process of selling my house and downsizing, and there's really nothing I want. I'm trying to get stuff out of my house. I'm trying to give stuff away, and for the most part, I'm being quite successful in that. I've given particular items to people I know would use them. We have our hospital rummage sale coming up. My children are going to be here with their spouses at Thanksgiving weekend, and so there may be some things that they want. Giving things away is a whole lot easier than trying to think of things that would actually enhance my new living environment. So time, making memories, those are the things that really matter to me now. Case in point, this summer I rented a house in Newfoundland. Last year I rented a house in Italy, and the whole family came. They were responsible for their own plane fares or getting there however they chose, but I rented the house. And that gave us the opportunity to spend time together as a family. And it was really great just to have that time cooking meals, sightseeing. You don't have to go to faraway places to do that, though. You can sightsee in the town where you live. You know, I used to live in Toronto. I was born and raised in Toronto, Ontario. And there were so many places that the tourists constantly go to that I had never been to. The CN Tower, as a for instance, I was there when it first opened. An uncle took me there on my 21st birthday because then that was the legal drinking age. He took me there on my 21st birthday for a drink, but I'd never been back since. So that was a touristy thing that I got to do with some friends who visited, and it was like seeing it for the first time. So those kinds of things, you know, you really can do in your own neighborhood. If you have an older adult who lives in long-term care, maybe those short, fewer in number visits are more what they can handle. Don't don't set that aside. Don't think that that's not a wonderful gift, because you can figure out how to make some wonderful memories that you will all be talking about for years ahead. So time is the number one thing that everybody always wants. Digital picture frames. Now, this is also something that I have slammed up against. I have not yet gone and purchased a digital picture frame, but I do have books and containers on containers full of pictures. Now, a lot of those are moving with me to my new space, and I have every good intention of sorting through them and doing something with them, but it's really hard to take those memories and catalog them in an appropriate way. And a digital picture frame seems to me to be the ticket. I may be doing that. You know, when I go through my pictures, I have to look at them not only for my own memories, but through the eyes of my children, and wonder how much meaning these pictures, which held so much meaning to me, are going to hold for them. They may not know the people. These may not have been their experiences. So, I think they're probably going to be far more interested in their baby pictures, their childhood memories as our family created them. I just don't think that my old memories are going to have that much meaning for them. But as I say, maybe the digital picture frame is the way to go. And if I put different categories of pictures on different cards to put in the frames, they go on little digital cards, the kind of things that you would put in cameras, for those of you who may not know. If I have different cards for different kinds of pictures, that might have meaning. I can tell you something that I have done several times is taken pictures and made hardcover books of them. And you can do that online at Shutterfly, Costco. Everybody seems to have the ability for you to take those pictures and digitize them in a hardcover book these days. So that might be another way for me of getting rid of the actual physical presence of pictures that are loose, essentially. So that might be one for you. Subscriptions and gift certificates, these are no-brainers. I use iTunes, I order from Amazon, so those kinds of things would be good for me. Sephora is a place where you can buy anything, makeup, online or in person at the stores. Those are really good things. Fidget aprons. Now here's something that is really good for people who are in nursing homes, people who are living at home but are in some stage of dementia. A fidget apron is a really good thing, and stay tuned because we have a lady coming up in an interview, I think in about 4 weeks time, and she leads a project that builds fidget aprons here in the town where I live, and I've already talked to her about it. Right now she's on vacation in France. Lucky girl, lucky girl. Anyway, she's going to come and tell us about the process of making fidget aprons, what kinds of things they put on them, and who they donate them to. So that is going to be a show that is upcoming. So if that is something that you have an interest in making for somebody that you care about, keep your eye open for that. Music, of course, music is always a wonderful gift, and you can download it onto so many different devices, so many different digital devices, iPads, smartphones, iPods, any kind of device really that is out there right now that is capable of having a card inserted or recording things. Music is a really wonderful gift, and particularly the music that the person who is receiving the gift grew up with. I know I'm addicted to Beatles music. I was a little young for the Beatles. I never got to go to one of their concerts, but that is definitely what I consider to be the music of my generation. So it's on my Sirius XM in my car. I quite often ask Alexa to play it for me. So, for me, that's what it is. For people who are country fans or may have grown up with classical music, wonderful gift. Automatic nightlights. I've talked about those many times before. We particularly like the Light Owl, which is motion sensitive. That is on our retail partners store, which is brownhealthcare.com. Whiteboards, Fire Avert. Now, Fire Avert is something that is ever so useful. It shuts off power to a stove, whether it is gas or electric, if it has been left unattended, and starts to set off the smoke alarm. It'll just shut the power right off. It was on Shark Tank, and that was where it first came to my notice. I think it's a really handy invention, and there are others out there like Fire Avert, but that's the one that we've had on our list for the past few years. Accounts with local taxi companies. So think about the accounts. Think about, for people who are aging in place, the kinds of accounts that they have. It might be taxi rides. It might be grass cutting or snow removal. It might be getting their hair done. You could pay up an account on those and give them to them. So these are maybe not sexy gifts, but they are needed gifts. This is money that would otherwise come out of their monthly stipend, whether that's a pension or some kind of investment. It's money they're going to have to spend anyway to get something done that they need done. So that's a really good thing. So tread on boots and shoes. Now that's something that we have talked about before, and that is something that you should check. Check your tread. I know you can look back on previous videos that we have done, and for people who have those shiny slippers with those surfaces that are trip and fall hazards, they need to be replaced. So if you can sneak a peek at your mom or dad or grandparents' tread and see whether it's shiny or if it is adequate tread, then that might give you a hint to a gift that they may actually need. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of things that I brought here, and these are a couple of things that I've been testing and use myself. This is an Echo Show. Now, it's not plugged in. I have pulled it off of the wall to show you, but it does have, oops, bring it this way. It does have this camera feature on it, which I really like. The camera is currently turned off, but you can move this button and turn the camera on, which is useful for some of the features that the show is coming up with. There are volume controls, and you can turn the whole thing on or off. So you can connect this to Ring doorbells, for instance, so that if somebody rings a bell, you don't have to rush to the door to see who it is. That's a really useful thing for somebody who is aging and you don't want them rushing anywhere. Now, we published an article just last week, I believe, that talked about a really good new feature that's coming out for this particular device for people who have vision impairments. And it doesn't have to be the kind of vision impairment that renders you blind. It can be just your inability to read small print on those bottles, right? How many times do we struggle with that? So what you'll be able to do with this, the feature is called Show and Tell, and you will be able to take a bottle. This is a bottle of turmeric, and you'll be able to turn the camera on. It's off now, turn it on, and when it is functional for you, you'll be able to hold this bottle up in front of it and say, Alexa, what am I holding? And it will tell you what you're holding in your hand. Is that not cool? I think that that is just a wonderful, wonderful invention. Now, currently, the Show and Tell feature is only available in the US market, but it will be expanding to other markets. So for those of you who have an Echo Show, or maybe considering getting one for someone for Christmas, do keep up on the updates, because at some point that Show and Tell feature will become available in your market if you are outside of the US. I am really loving that particular feature. Now, another device that I recently got was spurred on by my guilt over adding more plastic to my waste. I didn't want to do that, but also my need to drink water. Lots of water. We all need to drink lots of water. I'm no more special than anybody else. But I particularly like carbonated flavored waters. I just do. I find tap water kind of on the boring side, but I will drink it. Certainly, the water in my town is perfectly good. But I was talking to a friend who has one of these. It is a SodaStream. So this SodaStream, it's quite a tall device. You can see it does sit on my counter. It requires no batteries, no hydro. It has a unit in the back that is the carbonation. I'll take it apart and show you. As the carbonator cylinder. This particular one that I have is by SodaStream, which I believe was the first one of its kind to come on the market. There we go. And what you do with this is you get your bottle. It comes with a bottle that holds 840 milliliters, which is, I think, about 5 cups, 5.5 cups, if you are not on the metric system. So you fill it with water, tap water, the colder the better, and then you put it under, let me just grab a hold of this, you put it into this little piece here and set it in, and then this button on the top, this button here, you press that several times. The more you press it, the more carbonation your drink gets, your water gets, and I really like it. I like mine heavily carbonated, so I press it a lot. Now this label up here says, what? Press it 3 times for light fizz, 5 times for strong fizz. And when it says a time, it's 2 seconds. So you would press it 3 times for 2 seconds each to get light fizz. I press mine way more than 5 times. I like heavily carbonated myself, so that's fine. But then what you can do with this is you can buy flavors. So I particularly like the black cherry cola. I also have peach, and those bottles are, I think, about that big. You can buy them at the grocery store, the hardware store, wherever they sell SodaStream products. You can buy them from Amazon in Canada and the US and probably everywhere. And you take a capful and you put it into the water, which has been carbonated. You give it a light little shake and you're off to the races. I love this. Now again, they are not sponsoring this. I am paid no money to advertise them. I am just telling you that this encourages me to drink more water. It also discourages adding more plastic to the waste environment, which I think is a really good thing. So I bought this a couple weeks ago. It was on sale. It was $99 Canadian. I think it's normally $129, but you can get them slightly less expensive and slightly more depending on what features you want. This one is called the Fizzy. They have a few different models. It's called Fizzy. It comes in different colors. I got white. There's red, there's black. You can suit the environment that you're going to be in. But I am adding this to our Christmas gift list this year because I think it is a total win-win on so many fronts. So that is kind of what I wanted to show you today, those 2 products. There'll be some other surprises on our Christmas gift list or holiday gift list. If you don't celebrate Christmas, please don't think it's only for Christmas. These are things that actually you can go to all year round, whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, a birthday, a celebration of any kind. When you would buy a gift, it's a great list to go to constantly. And we have people tell us that, so I like to promote the list because it gives you ideas. People are always saying older people are so hard to buy for. And we are. I get it. My kids ask me for my gift list every year, and it's so hard. You know, they kind of get the same things. My perfume, iTunes gift cards. There's not a lot on it. But there's a little more on it this year because now I can get more flavors for my SodaStream. Anyway, for you, from me, keep your eye out on theoldish.com where we will have this list published. We usually do it a week or 2 after the Canadian Thanksgiving. So that is in a week's time. Toward the end of October, you will see that appear at theoldish.com. It will also be on our Facebook page. I'll probably also promote it on our Instagram and Twitter. So wherever it is that you like to be, you can find us. Just search for The Oldish. Thank you for joining us today, and I do hope you'll join us again next Wednesday at 12 noon for another edition of The Oldish TV. Until then, please do remember that it takes a village to age a senior.